Hey guys, I'm Greg and this is Jess, my wife. We are drifter.journey on YouTube and Instagram, and we've been in our van for just over 2 years now, full time, and we figured it's probably time to do a van tour. The van is a 2017 Ram Promaster 2500, 159 wheelbase. We have just over 41,000 miles on it. We bought it new and had it converted out. And it has been pretty much an excellent vehicle for us so far. We're going to try and go through this with no edits, so we're just going to roll through. If we miss anything, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'll get back to you. So yeah, Jess is going to give you the rundown of everything in the front half, and then I'll show you the back and the garage.
Hey guys, so as Greg said, I'm going to go ahead and go over the front half of the van for you. Again, this is a van that's been lived in for just over 2 years, so it's a pretty realistic vision of a cluttered living space. So there's stuff here, we live in it, you'll see that. We didn't clean up too much. So up front, the biggest thing that we did up here is a swivel seat. This is pretty common in vans. We bought the Swivels R Us swivel seat because it was easier to install. It has a little bit bigger opening for the wires, so we didn't have to deal too much with that wiring cluster under there. Otherwise, up here we have a few accessories that kind of make our lives a lot easier. One of them being the Night Eyes Steely mount. So this is what Greg uses to hold his phone onto the dash. That way it makes navigation really easy, so he can kind of have his phone there accessible for him, hands-free, while we're driving. Another thing that we really like are these insulated reflective window covers. So we bought this set that's specifically made for the Dodge Ram Promaster. They use suction cups to go up onto the windows. As you can see, it's kind of thick and reflective, so you can find those online at eurocampers.com. They make them specifically for a lot of different vans. And it's nice that they're made to fit your van windows, because then it covers most of the light, which is nice. Another accessory that is new to the van for this season is going to be this soft-sided cooler. So this year we kind of decided that we wanted to have a little bit more fresh food with us at a time. It just gives us the ability to be off-grid for a little bit longer than our fridge does. So I'll show you the fridge in a minute. You'll see how big it is. We're only going to keep things like veggies in here. It's kind of just like a chili bin. Actually, Greg got some snow for us the other day, so that's what's keeping it cool in here right now. You can see we've just got some broccoli and tortillas and salad dressing, so just helps us store a little bit more fresh food while we're on the road. Also up here, we have our leveling blocks. So with the swivel seat, it's up pretty high, and as you can see, I can't touch the ground, so these actually come in handy in two ways, both to help us level out the van while we're parked on an unlevel surface, and they're kind of a nice little step stool for while we're seating here. And so last up here is our Espar heater. We have the Espar gas heater, which is plumbed directly into our gas tank. This is the gas Ram Promaster. So that makes it pretty easy, simple. We do run it quite a bit in the shoulder season. Not as much in winter because we winter in San Diego, but comes in handy for sure. At first we weren't going to put one in, and our builder kind of insisted, and we're glad he did. So also up here we have some really neat storage that the Ram came with. Up here, this is kind of our hat and sunglasses and kind of other junk place, which is nice to have because that stuff just clutters wherever it is. And then we have a secondary shelf which actually goes pretty far deep back. And up here we can have some random, like this is a massager. This is our laundry bag, so this is where we keep our dirty laundry. And then we have a couple curtains. We made these curtains ourselves out of some moving blankets and magnets, and I'll show you how this works real quick. So these are, the intent was that we wanted it to be blackout and insulative, so we just kind of toss these up here, and you can see there's magnets all along the top and along the sides, and it tucks in there pretty nice so that we've got some privacy, and it helps keep the heat out when it's hot and the cool out when it's cold. So we have one of those for each of the windows. on that side, and then also on the slider door. So that's what we keep up there. We also have a set of blackout curtains that kind of sit up here. They're also just with magnets. So we use those when we really want to black it out in here, because the reflective covers do a good job, but you can still see light around the edges. So when we really want it blacked out, we'll hang those up, and it kind of blocks off the cab from the living space, which is nice. Otherwise, so we can kind of move on to the windows, and real quick we'll talk about the WeBoost. We bought the WeBoost just to help us get signal, and it just kind of sits right here. You can mount it somewhere if you want, but we didn't really have anywhere we wanted it permanently fixed, so we just kind of set it back there, and the wiring kind of sets out of the way there. We're pretty happy with it. It does help a little bit with signal when we don't have great signal in certain places. We do have 2 operable windows on this side, so it's just this half. It's the little windows that pop out, and that gives us a great cross breeze. We do have 1 operable window on the slider door as well. So this side is not operable, but this side is. So if we really want to pull some air through, we can open that up as well and let it all in. So that's really nice. Moving on, we also made some fan covers. We have a fan in the front of the van and one in the back of the van above the bed. And these fan covers are also just handmade with magnets. Greg took the cover off of this plate and put magnets up underneath here. And then we have magnets inside of this cover, and they just pop into place. Really helps cut down on the wind noise when we're driving. And we cover the back one quite a bit when we're sleeping too, because these fans actually let quite a bit of light in. So, all right, we'll move on to the kitchen area. So we have the Dometic 2-burner and sink combo cooktop, which is really nice. We really like it for its compact style and design. You can see that it does come in a 3-burner version as well, but we prefer the 2. I do end up using 3 pots sometimes, but I just set the 3rd pot there while I'm cooking the other 2, and it works out pretty well. And then we have just a little sink. You saw the faucet goes up and down for easy storage. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So now we're going to talk about the switch to turn on the pump is right here. So it's just kind of tucked under the counter, which is really nice. And down below the sink we have the fridge. So this is the 65-liter truck fridge, and you can see that it's got a tiny little freezer, which we can't fit a ton in, but we do try. And we can fit about 4 to 5 days worth of fresh food in here. So that does last us quite a bit, but like I said, the cooler extends that for us. And then on this side we have our pantry. So this door opens, we've got dishes and spices, things like that, which is nice. And then down below we've got this big drawer, which is crammed full of dry goods. So rice, beans, apples, peanut butter, all kinds of good stuff. And then lastly, above, we have a lot of our kitchen cooking stuff. So we do carry a jet boil with us, as well as using our regular stove. It's just easier when we want to boil water really quick. It goes a lot faster. We've got our pots, our pans, our teapot, some tea, tin foil, all kinds of random stuff back there. That's basically your kitchen cabinet. And this side is our bathroom cabinet. So toiletries, baby wipes, first aid supplies, all kinds of randomness up there. It's surprising how much you could fit up there. Hair clippers, we cut our own hair. So the last thing up here in front is going to be this power panel here. We have one side that does 2 USB ports. One of them's 1 amp, one's a 5 amp. And then we've got this 12 volt. This is where the WeBoost is plugged in right now. So you can turn the booster on and off. Right now it's on. Alright, so let's move on to the storage for the front half of the van. We currently have our benches for seating, but they're also double as storage. So underneath this one we've got quite a bit of storage for camera gear. We put some extra jackets in there, all kinds of good stuff. It's really nice to have extra cubbies and storage. As you can see, we actually have some paper towel stuff down behind there too. So like I said, we live in this van full time, and you can tell we put stuff everywhere. This is our table, and this is basically a homemade version of the Lagoon table. So it swivels, don't mind the squeaky noise, but it swivels back and forth. So it actually swivels all the way over to the door. Someone can be standing outside eating or working, and I can be sitting here eating or working. So it's pretty handy. And then it just tightens back in its original space when we're not using it. And then lastly, underneath here, we've got even more storage. So you can see we've got some maps, an air compressor, all kinds of, this is kind of like the junk drawer of a house. So I think that's about it for the front of the van. I'm gonna let Greg talk about the bed and all the underbed storage and the solar and all that fun stuff.
All right, so there was one thing Jess forgot to mention over here. We have these little puck lights that we use for our kitchen area. That was one thing we did not think of when we did the build. But if anybody is going to do a van build, we highly recommend putting some lights over the kitchen area. We learned pretty quickly that our 3 center lights on top weren't any good when you're cooking because you block it from it's behind you. So these came off Amazon. I think we got a 6-pack for like 25 bucks. They're rechargeable with a micro USB, so we just use a little outlet here to recharge them when they die, and then they just pop back up here. We've had them for a little over 2 years, and they're starting to lose their juice, but we're gonna replace them soon. So yeah, we have this whole little, I don't know what you'd call it, like our control center over here. So I'll explain what these are. This is for the awning. We have an electric awning, goes in and out. We can show that later. This switch is for a little LED light strip that is on the awning, so we can light up at night. Over here, we talked about the Espar heater. This is the control for that to turn it on and off. These 2 switches are for our bed. It's on a lift, so this one controls the front 2 lifts. This is the rear 2 lifts. We'll do a demonstration of that here shortly. But the bed can raise and lower. We put it up a little higher when we have mountain bikes in there, which we do right now. And then it can go all the way down. We call it lounge mode. So for half the year, we're usually seasonally working. When we do that, we take the bikes out so we can drop the bed down. Then I'm able to sit up in bed. Then here's just a switch for our lights, dimmer. And then this guy is for underbed lighting. There's some LED strips that came with the van for an extra $300 we didn't have a choice about. But we were able to reuse them for a little underbed lighting. So yeah, another thing here, in the bottom half of this bin that was our storage bin, there's actually a false bottom. We have a 200 amp hour AGM battery in there. So that's where our secondary battery is, along with our fuses and all that for the electrical. That's all powered from 300 watts of solar that are up on the roof. And then also we have the T-Max, which is an intelligent battery system. But basically what this is an isolator. So what it does is when we're driving, the alternator's charging our extra battery and the car battery, obviously. And then when we're stopped like we are now, when we have extra sun coming in, it'll link the battery, so it's actually charging both batteries right now. And then if for some odd reason the car battery dies and we need to jump it, there is a link button where we can link it, and we would actually be able to start the vehicle off of the secondary battery. Also, the fans are actually Max Air. They're both remote controlled. This remote will work for either of them, so we can use that to turn them on and off. Yeah, so the bed itself, it's on 80/20 aluminum rails. The lifts are 4 250-pound pneumatic lifts that were custom made to be able to, you know, basically put the bed on these rails and lift and lower. Bed's pretty self-explanatory, but I'll show you a little bit about how we use it. So we have 3 upper cabinets. We each get 1.5 for our clothes. So this is all my clothing. Her clothing is the back half. We got a little extra light, but that's dead right now, in case you need to see in there. But the big thing we use up here is our little tablet and our little UE boom speaker. We can set this guy up in here, and we actually sit this way and put our pillows over here, so we can watch TV at night if we want to. It's pretty comfortable, works well. It's a good little solution that we hadn't planned when we moved in. Don't watch a ton of TV, but you get some rainy days here and there, and you need to spend some time doing something. So also the first year was a little hot, so we ended up getting 2 of these little USB fans. So when we're laying down in bed, we can turn them right on to us if it's real hot. So with the dual max fans on the top and these, we're pretty good at almost any temp. And then we got these movable just reading lights back here that has 2 USB charging ports in it. So we actually can charge our phones back here. I can stick mine up here with the magnet, just charge the phone at night. And then we also added a couple Polk 6x9 speakers, just for the van stereo, to have that sound a little bit better, since it was pretty hard to hear in here. So yeah, so now I'm going to take you around the back, show you our storage or garage, and I'll do a quick lift of the bed just so you can get an idea of how that works. So that's the lift. It'll go up pretty much all the way to the top. I'm just going to take out the fans here in a second. We'll do a time lapse of that too, all the way up and down, so you can see it. But that gives us access. We can lift it a little bit to get some things under there if we need to. Also, one little cheat that it has, if we're on a slight angle, I can do just the front, and we can get about 4 or 5 inches of an angle fit with either the front or the rear. So we don't always have to park totally flat or use our blocks. Yeah, so we'll swing around the back, show you the storage. That's really what we wanted to build this van for, was to be able to go and be outdoors. So we have a ton of stuff in there. We'll show you all that and show you how it works for us. So we're going round 2 on the back of the van. We had some sound issues with the wind earlier. We'll see if this one works because it's still a little breezy. As you can see, I got a haircut, wardrobe change. This here is our 2018 TW200. It's street legal. Has 2,200 miles on it. We got it brand new, and it takes us places the van can't. It is 196 cc, gets about 70 miles to the gallon. It's taken us to hot springs, up Forest Service roads. It's my grocery getter with this nice bin on the back, and it also allows us to leave the van parked and go explore if we have camp set up, or if I'm working in the winter, Jess can stay in the van and then she doesn't have to go anywhere. I can just take it into work. So we do have it on a Moto-Tote carrier. We do have an affiliate link with them. If you're looking to get a motorcycle rack, you get a discount. We can leave that in the link below. And then that is attached to a rack attach swing out carrier. And the rack attach gives us access to the back door that we wouldn't normally have. And then once we go in here, we can give you the grand tour in here. So in here, We got our shower jug, 7-gallon shower jug. We have 4 of these total with us. 3 of them are for potable drinking water. This one we fill with pretty much any water that's pretty much semi-clean, so it could be river water or a hose or whatever we find. This one attaches to our portable shower. We'll show you in a minute. Got some laundry detergent. And then on this side, we have 500-pound slider with our mountain bikes. So we knew that we wanted to be able to go mountain biking. So they pull out and lock. There are 2 camp chairs that were hung up in there that are getting a little jammed up. Like we said, we live in here full time, so things get moved around. But yeah, so we built the storage back here around these 2 mountain bikes. And then the other bin is specific to our black bins that we have all of our stuff in. There's some Remington storage bins. So in here we have the 2 bikes. They fit pretty much perfectly. Have some propane storage. Right now we have like 2 or 3 months worth because they were hard to come by when this COVID started. So we stocked up on it. We were planning to go to Alaska. We wanted to make sure we had plenty. We aren't going anymore. But yeah, so the bikes slide in and out. Super accessible. And the bed needs to be a little higher. Over here, got a skate helmet. We got a fold-out table. Yoga mats go in there. We got an 7 or 8 gallon onboard water tank. And with that, this hose comes out, attaches to this other hose that we put a funnel on the end of so we can fill our water tank from outside pretty easily. Down in here, we've got an RV water filter, so we can hook that up to a hose to get some clean water. And then an extra hose out the back. We can rinse things off if need be back here. Then in the other side, we have a bike bin here, fly fishing waders and boots, motorcycle helmet, the camp shower, which I can show you. And so our shower here, it's a portable system. We can just put a water pump into this 7-gallon. This is a standalone unit. We just hook up a little 1-gallon tank. It's got a nozzle that comes with it. So you got water flowing in, goes through the system, heats it up about 30 degrees, comes out. We can get a hot shower. We went with this unit. We've seen where people have the on-demand heat back in here. We weren't sure if we wanted that. It's a good idea. It saves more space. But we were worried about, right here, showering and getting water everywhere. Or if you, you're out somewhere else, parking lot or something like that, you can't really do that. This gives us the opportunity to be able to go wherever we want to use it to take a shower. So we got 2 more water jugs here with fresh water. And then we have our Home Depot bucket. This guy has a toilet top on it, and then we just use cat litter and biodegradable bags. That one doesn't really get used. It's for only basically if we're camping somewhere that we absolutely can't go off and dig a hole properly, or there's no privacy, things of that nature. or if there's emergencies. We haven't had that yet, but worst case scenario, we can use it in the van. This guy here is our little changing room slash bathroom if need be. Like if we're in wide open space, we can use the bathroom in there. If we can't just shower in the open because we're, summer populated, this guy, it makes a little change room. The Holly Yellow is the only one we saw that is tall enough for me. So this one sits about 6'6". Works for me. Does all right. If it gets windy, it can get a little wild, but we make do with what we have. And what else do we have? So we have a bike bin full of everything for mountain biking. We have a fishing bin that has all of our fly fishing gear, a couple Tenkara rods, inflatable kayaks from their Kokopelli pack rafts. Another bin is backpacking tent, sleeping pads, water filter, so we can just go and leave and go backpacking with this one. We have a tool bin in case we got to do minor repairs on the van, spare oil, spare coolant and whatnot in there. And then we have a bin for climbing gear, so that is trad rack, sport rack, climbing rope, harnesses. I think there's 6 pairs of shoes in there, so we're good to go on all of that. And then so inside here on the other shelf, we have our 2 ukuleles. See if I can get this in real quick out of the way. We'll clean it up nicer in a bit. So yeah, 2 ukuleles over here. Skateboard that doesn't get used very often, but put that in because I like to go check out little skate parks here and there. We have 2 separate shade tarps that we can connect up to the awning to make an extra wide sunblock basically. Some workout bands. We have 2 hammocks in here and then spare fuel canisters for our jet boil. So yeah, that's all the storage in the back. And then also out here we have a custom 80/20 roof rack, so the solar panels are mounted up onto that. We have a rear light bar here. We also have one on the front. The rear light bar, I was hoping that when the backup camera's on at night, that would be more than sufficient to be able to see everything and reverse around. It doesn't quite work because it messes with the camera, so it lights everything up. Jess has to get out. She can walk back behind and I can see her in the mirrors because it lights her up quite well. And it's the front one. It's amazing. We can see everything. So if we're out on Forest Service roads, we'll light that up so we can figure out where we're going at night, find a good camp. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the back end storage. I can do a quick video of the awning over here if you want to pop that out. I'll just mess up in a little bit. But yeah, awning. Let's see if it wants to work today. So we've had some issues with it. We didn't send in warranty for some parts, and let's see if the out button works. It did. So this guy comes all the way out. I don't know if it's going to be too windy for it right this second. It seems to be doing okay. So basically, once it gets all the way out, I think the light comes so you can see it. Then it goes all the way out. It's really windy, we will have one of the that comes all the way out there. And these legs drop down. You can attach to the van or to the ground. We attach them to the van. Just because the ground's not always soft or even. We attach them to the van here like so. Lock it out. And then if it's pretty windy, we can strap some extra little orange just tie down straps up to this and then anchor those into the ground with some of those like metal screw in, I call them dog leash anchors if you'd imagine. to keep it held down in case it gets breezy. But yeah, this thing really, mostly comes in handy on rainy days, as we've noticed. It helps you stay out of the rain, puts that away, gives you an extra living space, and then it will block the sun depending if you actually park the right way. So less so for that we use it, but that's it. Same thing, goes back in, and I think that's pretty much the whole van tour. So if we missed anything, or if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We're more than happy to answer. We want to be a resource to help you, make the best decisions for your van build. We've learned a little bit of stuff along the way. We did put a ton of thought into it before we did it. Tried to plan everything, get it all right. I think we did pretty well overall. A couple things we would change, but anytime you ask us, we don't know what the answer to that question is, so they can't be that bad. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this turns out good. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, and if you buy it from Amazon, we have an affiliate link. Go ahead and click that. It'll be down below. Gives us a little bit of commission, if you'll say. Just helps us keep this show going a little bit. Thank you.